How are ya?
Look at us. I'm
Look
doing.
at just us.
I was ready. I'm ready. I'm ready for
Uh,
Sunday.
no, that's all right. We're gonna get to Nick this weekend. No problem. He did good on his picks, I'll tell you that.
He did. He did. I think he picked Emma Stone, right? Wasn't he?
Um, yeah, no, yeah, I think he got almost everyone right except for Lily Gladstone.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he was good.
Yeah, he did really well. That sucked because I wanted Lily Gladstone too. What are you gonna do?
I was disappointed that neither actress won for Naiad because it's my new favorite movie.
You are nothing if not consistent.
Yes, and I have watched it many times because I'm finding it quite inspiring.
Oh, we do what we have to do, I guess.
Right?
I don't think I couldn't watch that more than once, but yeah, good.
We
Um,
got to find it where we find it. Yeah, it's one of the ones I've been watching over and over again.
wow.
No, I do.
It amazes me how you hone in on one thing at a time until you're ready to purge, and then you'll move on to the next thing.
And then I move
Whereas
on.
I am all over the board. We just finished watching Death and Other Details on
Uh-huh.
and then I started The Gentleman on Netflix and I fucking love it. So yeah, like we're like all over the map and you're like honed in.
Phoned in. What is The Gentleman? What is that? Is that British?
It is it's by Guy Ritchie. I think
Oh,
he wrote and directed it, but I don't really recognize anybody in the cast, but it's a pretty good premise, like it's a very wealthy family going back, to dukes and that kind of thing. And
hmm.
the dad dies, and the one good son is in the RAF. He's in the Royal Army, so he gets
Uh-huh.
summoned to come home, and they get ready to read the will, and the oldest son is a bit of a fuck up, you know,
Oh,
like just
it's always
it's
one.
like it's a little bit funny. Like he is funny, the character. He's like a drug addict, and anything that frivolous that would get someone in trouble, he's into. And so they read the will, and the oldest is expecting to get everything, and it goes to the younger son that's
Oh.
in the army. So he has to handle like all the family business, which he really knows nothing about. And it turns out that his dad has had this arrangement with this pretty gnarly crime family that runs a pot plantation on his
Oh.
farm. So the good son ends up kind of like getting involved in that. And it
Mhm.
spirals. Like every time you think that he's gonna get this family off his land finally, it's like one more thing. Oh wait, I gotta help my brother pay back this debt. Oh, I gotta help them get out of, a sticky situation. And it's like one more thing over and over and over again. It's pretty good. And like I said, it's a little bit funny. So like that makes it the violence, makes the violence okay.
It
But
sounds like almost that just the part about the brother, the good brother, and the other brother about that old movie "It's a Wonderful Life" with George Bailey when he got
yeah.
stuck doing all the stuff for the family. Not that the brother was bad, but he just went on and lived his life, and poor George never got to do any of the things he wanted to do.
No, not quite like that, but
Not exactly that.
yeah, it's good. It's witty. So that makes it fun. Yeah, and there's just like you would like, I mean, you like the British stuff, so you probably get
Yeah.
it a little bit. But yeah, it's not in London. It's kind of out in the country where castles and stuff are, like that
Oh, yeah,
kind of
yeah.
vibe. But yeah, it's Guy Ritchie, so it's a little bit witty and there's a little bit of violence and good ass beatings. But yeah, all in all, so far I'm loving it. I just, as a matter of fact, I texted my stepdad and said, "You got to watch this show. You got to watch this." He was like, "Oh, all right, I'm down." So
And
I,
Guy Ritchie, he was with Madonna, right? Wasn't he married to
yeah, a
Madonna?
long time ago. Yeah, but he's a pretty active filmmaker over here.
Yeah, yeah. That was
So
when she turned British, when she
yeah,
changed
yeah.
identity and her name, I think, and everything.
Stupid, honestly. Yeah, so that's pretty good. Like I'm kind of digging that. I have like a whole list on my phone of things I'm gonna watch now that Gemma just left this afternoon.
Oh, just
Well,
this
stuff I
afternoon.
know she wouldn't like. Yeah.
So how long is she gone? How long will she be gone?
A little over 3 weeks. She'll be back on April 4th.
Oh, wow.
I know. It's just
I
me and
know.
the cats. I felt like my whole life is just feeding them and cleaning their bowls and stuffing their litter boxes. It's thank God. Like
So
we
now
have
what will
food,
you do for dinners? Like, are you going to be making your own dinners and stuff or
I'm gonna eat a lot of meat
real meat?
because I
Real.
can. Yeah. Like tonight I already had a Five Guys burger and
Oh, okay. Okay, there you go.
wait, and a peanut butter bacon milkshake.
Oh, that's
Mind
interesting.
blown, mind blown. So good.
Wow.
Yeah.
What do you put in that? Actual bacon? Does actual
It's
bacon go in there?
actual like bacon bits that you would get on a salad, like real bacon bits chopped up real fine,
Oh, wow.
and like peanut
Interesting.
butter ice cream. Ugh, it's ridiculous. It's
Okay, so
so
peanut
good.
butter ice cream, the bacon bits,
Yeah.
regular milk.
Yeah, I think so. It's like I mean, Five Guys really does the best shakes. You know,
Oh, it's a Five Guys thing. Oh, okay.
yeah, when I first
Okay, this.
moved here and we went someplace and I ordered a milkshake, it was like milk water. I'm like, what is this? Like, what's wrong with your ice cream? This is not even cold. Like, I don't, yeah, it was really bad. It was like whipped milk. It was horrible. And the same thing with when we went to like a van, like you would go get ice cream from the ice cream truck.
Yeah, yeah, right.
It was like air circulated through soft ice cream, which made it not cold. Like it was the shape of like
Right.
it was in the shape of like a Dairy Queen cone, but when you licked it, it was like a marshmallow. You know what I mean? Like, and they're all like, "Oh, you have to have a Mr. Whippy." I'm like, "This is bullshit."
Mr. Whippy. Kind of like Mr. Softy when we used to have Mr. Softy,
Yeah,
but
but nothing like it.
they
It's
had great steaks.
so much worse. So so yeah, Five Guys is like my go-to for like an actual, literal, authentic milkshake. You know, I think that's why they do so good here because as traditional as Britain is and the way they are about their food, like their curries and their fish and chips and their kebabs and their shawarmas and all these, steak and ale pies and bangers and mash. And it's like the same thing over and over and over again, no expansion. When you stick an American place, they can
Mhm.
they can tell you all they want that they're down for, I'm good with curry 3 nights a week. Stick up Five Guys on the corner, and they will eat that 5 nights a week because they're just not exposed to it. When they get
Right.
exposed to it, they're kind of like, oh, I get it. And if they've been to America and they come back, all they talk about is the food and the portions.
Oh, wow. And the
They like
portion.
they love IHOP. What? They don't make fluffy pancakes here. They're like crepes. So when they
Wow.
go to America and they have like a big, fluffy pancake with a
Yeah.
bunch of bullshit on top, like strawberries and ice cream and whipped cream, and they go nuts. They're so full of shit. It's a hilarious. It actually is hilarious. It really is.
So they're not really known for their food, the Brit, is what you're saying.
They never have been, but they're trying so hard to get there. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
like when I first moved here, there was no Taco Bell anywhere. Now there's like one in every city center, you know.
And you had McDonald's and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, they have McDonald's, but it doesn't, some things just don't taste the same. Like none of
Yeah,
the breakfast stuff tastes like our breakfast stuff because
yeah.
it was like a plain pork sausage with no seasoning, you know?
Oh, oh,
So
so
it
they
doesn't,
make it
it's not a
different for,
breakfast sausage,
yeah. That's interesting. So they make it different. McDonald's actually has a different version of their breakfast stuff for England or probably every country, whatever country
I
they're
think they
in.
do in every country. When we were in France, we went to a McDonald's there and had, you know, the like they say in Pulp Fiction, a cheeseburger royale. Um, but like their fries have garlic dipping sauces.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, like some things are just really, really different depending in what country they are. But um yeah, here it's just a few things that they don't get right. Yeah, but you know, I mean, fries are the same, burgers pretty much the same. Um, you know, your you know, chicken sandwiches and all that kind of stuff, fine. They just call them different things. Like they call chicken sandwiches a chicken burger.
Oh,
It's
I
not a
guess I
burger,
can see that, but not really. No. You do have chicken chop meat. As gross as that is.
right?
Uh, God, I was going to ask you a question. Oh, do we have that peanut butter bacon shake here at Five Guys here? Oh,
Yeah.
because one right outside of my like right over the bridge. There's a Five
Yeah,
Guys.
like when you go there and you order a milkshake, they give you like a list of 15 things. So you pick what kind of ice cream, you pick what kind of additives, you know,
Oh,
so you can literally come up with anything you want, basically.
interesting.
Yeah,
I see that.
so good, so good. So I'm gonna eat like a fuck ton of meat. I got a beef joint. I got a beef joint ready to cook. I got
Cow delivered.
like a cola ham hocks coming. Like I am eating every kind of meat I can. And then we still have Tuesday pub night, so I'll get like a big filthy burger. But I have to be careful because I'm not when I go to like a regular restaurant that's not a chain
Hmm.
or a pub, I'm nervous about the burgers because I've realized over time that I don't like grass-fed Irish beef.
Yeah.
Don't like that.
Men,
Um,
yeah.
and usually it'll say it on the menu if it is, and I won't order it. But I'm a little bit leery. Like there's just something a little different because you know, like our beef is corn-fed, you know, and that's a difference in taste. So
Hey,
when it's
wow.
when it's a British cow that's been grass fed, it
Hmm.
doesn't taste the same, and it's a little bit strange. So most places we go, I'll make Hazel order a burger and I'll taste a bite. And then if I like it, I'll put it in my phone. So I know I can order it next time. And if I don't like it, no loss, you know? Yeah. So
Wow.
we have a system. We definitely have a system.
Hoovering, yes, it's the system of moving the cuisine, the Brit cuisine.
Trust. It's a trust, but you know, Hazel will be like, I'll get the burger and then you can have a piece. So we know the routine. But I'm right now I'm into big salads. I feel like Elaine from Seinfeld. A big salad. Um, so at the pub that we go to, I've been ordering this salad and it's like this real night it for once it's like a decent portion because
Hmm.
you know like when you go to a restaurant in the States and you order some kind of salad, whether it's a Cobb salad or a chicken Caesar or something, it's literally in a serving bowl and you eat it the entire time and you don't put a dent in it, right?
Right,
It looks
right,
like you haven't even picked at it.
right, right.
When I came over here and I ordered like a salad as a meal, it was this tiny little side salad with
Dinner
just
salad.
like a dinner salad with a cherry tomato and red onions on top and some weird dressing that I didn't even ask for. and it was standard like across the board. But pubs are now getting
Yeah.
the culinary scene. Like they're getting completely into the culinary scene now. So I get this salad and it's like this really nice bib lettuce with Roquefort dressing, golden raisins, real
Oh,
thin, really
that
thin slice of
sounds.
pear,
Hmm.
nice thin slices of pear, and roasted cauliflower.
Oh,
And I mean like brown roasted cauliflower. And it is so good and it's the right size to, to make you feel like you actually had a big salad for dinner. So that's been my like standard thing on pub night.
sounds super healthy. Everything in that is good for
Yeah,
you.
yeah, I mean, I guess it is. I always get a side of fries though, because I gotta fuck it up. But
You gotta, you
yeah,
gotta have.
yeah. And they're so nice at this pub. Like they will literally do anything. Like it's supposed to come with like walnuts too. And I'm like, can you leave out the nuts? And they leave out the nuts. And like because Gemma's gluten free, they will make a gluten free batter to make her onion ring.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's so nice of them.
I know, like they're really, really good, and they are already use a gluten-free batter on their fish. So when you get fish and chips, and when I tell you the fish and chips, like the fish is this big, like it hangs off the plate 2 inches on either
Wow.
side, like it's huge.
Yeah.
They will use they use gluten-free batter, so she could actually have it. It's really good. They're really, really nice, and now that we're like regulars, they'll do anything. Like I ordered um my salad and the lady was reading the specials, like on the board, and she said we
Mhm.
also have a dessert that's not on the menu and it's an eaten mess, and I'm like, oh, okay, I want to try that. Like I always see them on menus and it's vanilla
Yeah.
ice cream. It's going to sound disgustingly sweet. It's like vanilla ice cream with meringue, like broken meringue all over, and then like strawberry and strawberry sauce mixed in,
Oh, that does sound sweet.
and it looks hideously like a mess. It's called the Eaten Mess. So I was like, oh, save one for me. I'm definitely gonna try one. So I was the only one that was getting it, but they made it like so big so that I could like share it with Hazel. You
There.
know? And they brought over like all the spoons and everything. And like they're just really good people. They're really nice.
That's nice to treat your new customers really good, and that way they'll
Yeah,
come back.
because I mean, it's been there forever. We never really went regularly, like every once in a while we would go. It's a little more expensive than all the other pubs, but it's worth it. It's
Yeah,
definitely
sure.
ambiance is nice, the service is good, the food is amazing. It's never rowdy loud. And it's got that great outdoor setup. So now that the weather is getting a little bit nicer, if you
Mhm.
want to sit outside, it's covered, it's got fairy lights everywhere.
Oh,
The
nice.
the seats all have like a sheepskin backing on them, and so you're not feeling a breeze. It's like it's done really, really well. So yeah, we've been, you know, I'll be on a meat journey for a couple of weeks, and Hazel's picked out a couple restaurants that are on the must try.
Eat
So
restaurant.
yeah, like we can go try restaurants now. We don't have to worry like, oh, Gemma can't eat there. Like, oh, there's not a lot of gluten-free things. We could just fucking go, you know?
I was thinking about her because I'm sure you don't watch Seeking Sister Wives. It's my guilty
Oh,
mind
AT, what?
pleasure watching.
Its name is
But I only like
what's
certain,
wrong with you?
and I actually will say, "Oh, Seeking Sister Wives is on." But I mean, like I watch it like it's my mindless stuff, like. But
That's
it's kind
like
of like
Stallone. I watched the Family Stallone is my new guilty pleasure.
it
I can't
runs in the
believe
background. And if I miss it, I'm okay with it. I don't have to like catch up. But there's this couple, it's a twist on this new couple because it's the wife that wants the sister wife, not the husband. So she met this girl and she now is introducing her to the husband. And I was just thinking about Gemma because when they go to the restaurant, she's like, what can you make me that's gluten free, soy free, vegetarian, vegan? And it was
dairy
like the
free meat,
list.
but yeah, that's it. That's what we go through. I mean, the thing of it is she's getting really good. As long as we know the name of the place, she will look at the menu ahead of time. And
Mhm.
there's just
Right.
times where she goes, you know what? There's nothing here that I can have. So you and Hazel go and I'll stay home and make my own stuff, you know?
Oh, yeah. She's disciplined, really disciplined. And I guess if you don't eat
I don't think
meat,
it's
it's
really about that anymore. It's not really about like the meat thing. Yeah, like there's definitely an ideology behind it. But the gluten thing is, whereas other people have celiac and it makes them extremely sick, for her, it triggers migraines and they
yeah.
last like 3 or 4 days. So
Yeah.
people avoid it at any cost, to not have a migraine. And the dairy thing, it wasn't a allergy, it was an intolerance that
Mhm.
that brings on um like muck, like you feel stuffy and like
Yeah, right.
it's like
Yeah.
you know. So she just stays away from it because those things just make her uncomfortable. So it's not
Yeah.
so much as being disciplined, it's I'm not having it. Like I'm not living in pain, I'll just avoid it.
Right, right. Yeah, nothing's worth eating that makes you
Gonna
feel
make
like
Yeah, exactly. So I get it. And as hard as it is to always be cooking like 2 meals or whatever,
that. Mhm.
we did that thing where you send in hair samples
Yeah, yeah.
and it'll
I don't know. Yeah, what is that to see about? Is that the thing like your blood type? Like
no,
the
no, no, it tells you your intolerances
oh.
and exactly what you might be allergic to. So we did that and all the things that she avoids and everything, those are her strongest intolerances, you know.
Wow. So she figured it out on her own before the
Went
hair
through
test.
like a battery of tests first to eliminate
Mhm.
allergies, celiac, eliminate all those things uh to find out, what was causing it. And between taking out the test and eliminating a lot of mainstream issues,
Mhm.
then she went to Eastern medicine doctor called an
Oh,
ultramedic that's
oh,
that's right like 100 steps, from our door, and
yeah.
had acupuncture and had some tests done there. And yeah, it really turned out that the phlegm from the dairy was definitely like a huge easy, like, yep, that's what's doing it kind of thing. And then it was the gluten that took a long time to find out if that's what was causing the migraines, because that just sounds ridiculous. Like when
Oh,
she
yeah.
go to a doctor and say, it feels like if I eat carbohydrates or pasta, whatever, within a day or two, I will get a migraine that will last 4 days. And they would say, oh, that's ridiculous. That's
Right, right.
like the one doctor told her it's psychosomatic, and she went nuts on him, like
Oh
fucking
God.
walked out.
You went psycho. With the psychosomatic.
Was like, I'm not going to sit here and listen to a doctor that's not taking me seriously
Right,
and
right.
my charting my own medical history for them and
Mhm.
serving it to them on a silver platter so that they don't have to do these things or
Yeah,
ask these
yeah.
questions. And he's going to turn around and say that. So
Yeah,
she,
that's the worst.
but
Yeah.
she had endoscopies and ultrasounds and all kinds of things to make sure that there was nothing else going on in her stomach that would give her pains. She'll get a pain like up, underneath her ribs, and then
Mhm.
she'll get the migraine. So it's just easier to not do it.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
even today, like in her carry-on bag, she had Vegemite and plant-based cheese sandwiches. She had
Aw.
little packets of oat milk powder. I mean, like all these things, not to mention what was packed in her regular suitcase so she could eat, but just even on the plane, because you can say you want a vegetarian meal, but it's going to be vegetables and pasta, and she can't have the pasta.
Right. You can have the pasta.
Right. So she just brought her own food and she ate at the airport because there was a Wagamama's. So
Oh.
she could have a tofu curry and, be fine with it.
And she
Yeah.
enjoys that food, or does she just pretty much eat to survive?
I think she's been doing it for so long that she can't even remember what good stuff tastes like. So she's okay with it. And like I
Yeah,
will season things, like you guys have Impossible Burgers there, right?
yeah, yeah,
Your plant-based burgers.
yeah.
So these
Yeah.
we have our Beyond Burgers.
Yeah, we have
Same-
those too.
Yeah.
I
So she can eat anything that's from the Beyond range. So she'll do her burgers from there. She can do sausages and meatballs. So if she gets meatballs, I season them. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like I'll put seasoning on them so they're not bland or boring or whatever. And when they're cooking, I'm like, these actually smell like real meatballs. Not the
Do they
burger.
taste like real meatballs though?
I don't
That's the
know. I can't bring myself. I can't. I just can't. I can't. And the burgers, I really don't like how oily they are. Like it makes the house smell like Beyond Burgers for
Oh,
2 days. Like I can't even with the
that's awful. Yeah.
I can't stand it. It's really bad. Like no offense to anybody, and especially not Beyond Burger, but they literally smell like when you open a can of dog food.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I can't get past that in order to even try it. Um, but there was a range here called Moving Mountains that I really liked. And
Yeah.
I started having those when I worked at the pub. That was their meatless burger that they
Yeah.
offered. I always had that on my break and I loved it. And so, we had a freezer full of them because at that time, like I was trying, to get on board with what Gemma was going through. And
Uh-huh.
it turned out that they have gluten in them.
Oh.
So she couldn't have the moving mountains anymore. We had to find
Oh
and
no, another thing off the list.
yeah. But
Oh
thank
no.
God, like I said, she can have the whole range of the of Beyond products, which is good, you know. But yeah, when she's not here, like I cook just for me, we'll eat like regular pastas and a bunch of meat and like all that stuff. So
Meat
I'm
on the
I'm kind of
pasta.
looking forward to it.
That is funny. Well, you enjoy,
The
enjoy.
thing, the hard part too is traveling. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, you were just in New York. We were just in New York, and we spent those 3 days before the cruise looking for gluten free. And I shit you not when I say we spent the entire mornings looking for gluten free bagels, gluten free pizza crusts, and what was the other thing? There was something
And
else.
you probably can't just go into a pizza place, right? You have to go to
Right,
a special
right.
pizza.
So there's an app called Happy Cow
Yeah.
that'll show you, it'll pinpoint your location and show you any vegan restaurant within you put in
Oh,
the range, you know. So we were using that and there were a few, but every we would go to one bakery, it was closed, couldn't find the other one. I mean, they would just, but we would just spend our days looking for things that she could eat, and it was
yeah.
exhausting. Like it was exhausting for me, and it
Yeah.
wasn't my issue, but I felt so bad for her that we finally ended up ordering on Uber Eats like a vegan like tofu Thai food
Oh.
delivered right to the hotel where we where we were staying. And then I walked around the corner and got the best pizza of my life. But like I'm not gonna do that. I'm in New York. I want those things. I want
Right. You want
Chipotle.
the
I want
bagels. You
pizza. I
want the.
want cannolis.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's really, really hard to travel. And I told you like the whole thing on the cruise was, you know,
Yeah.
they had they had a lot of vegetarian options, but not many gluten free. And that sometimes that's the challenge is like they might have a plant-based burger that she can have, but it's not going to be on a gluten-free bun. You know,
Yeah.
she's going to
Yeah.
have a knife and fork it. It's just not really a burger, is it? So yeah, we run into a lot of issues like that. But that's why I like traveling with somebody else that can eat that can eat joyous food with me. Like,
Especially when you're in New York, you want the pizza, the bagels, and
oh my
it's funny,
God.
all that crazy with the food because we had so much to do in such a short period of time, and we didn't know where to find those things. Like we were in Times Square where a hotel was, but to me it was so busy and confusing. And then you have to walk places. They did have that Cake Boss. His bakery is right there.
Yeah.
The guy.
buddy.
and I got a rainbow cake. I'm meaning to put the picture up uh, to put like for the show. It's
Yeah,
it was really really good. It was very sweet, but it was a big slice of cake, rainbow, and
nice.
that was
Yeah, that's
and and of course the cannolis and all the Italian
Did you
stuff.
guys
But
go like did you just like straight off go to like your old stomping grounds and look for like restaurants and places you remember or
well, the thing is our stomping grounds was Long Island. So
oh you
I
were
was
more
not like a city girl when I lived there.
right.
So I didn't, we were really fish out of water. We were literally walking around. Marianne had the GPS on her phone, the walk one,
Yeah.
and just going in circles. And I was so tired that first day. I think I told you everything fell in the puddle. Did I
Yeah.
talk about that on the
Yeah.
show? That they
Yeah.
call street juice.
Juice. The
No one knows
street
what it
juice.
is.
Yeah. The unknown liquid. Yep.
Oh my God. So that first day, the scarf and the gloves were gone. And I'm like, oh my God, now I don't, that's all I said before I left. As long as my hands are warm, my head is warm, and my neck is warm, I'm good. It doesn't matter how cold it is. Because I brought my
The
leather
two
jacket.
stores down would probably be selling like I love New York hats and
You think,
scarves.
right? But I don't know why we couldn't find it. They did have hats, but the scarf and the gloves was hard to find.
Oh
So
my
I
God,
did
that's
get a scarf
crazy.
from somebody on the street, but it wasn't a warm scarf, it was like
Yeah.
a fashion scarf. So,
Right. Yeah.
and then my niece talked me into getting this hat, and I didn't know it was made out of wool.
Oh.
So I'm walking down the street. We were going to MoMA, the Museum of Modern Art.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't know they called MoMA, but the cool people call it MoMA.
Oh my.
So I know that. And I'm like, I think I got lice. Now I got lice. What was I thinking? Buying a hat from a guy on the street?
Oh
Who does
no.
that? And then I'm like, maybe it's just made out of wool because I'm not allergic to many things, but I am a little allergic to wool.
Yeah.
So I
That's
think it was just
definitely a texture thing,
I
isn't
did
it?
get advice, but
Yeah.
thank
That is
God.
so, that's so funny.
So, but yeah,
Oh shit. But yeah, like for us, because we only had 3 days, I definitely think like doing the bus tour was
yeah, that's a good idea.
it
Yeah,
would it was a way for me to see every single thing I've ever seen on television that I wanted to see and would have never been able to.
yep, yep,
It was like 90 minutes and then a break, and then you could get back on and do another 90 minutes, which we tried to, but at that point it had gotten way too hot. Like it was good in the morning.
yeah, yeah,
It was still like, like 76, 77, but the temperature just kept creeping up all day. And when we took that break in Times Square, we went to where did we eat? Bubba Gump. Bubba
Oh,
Gump shrimp.
where were
Um,
you in the city? What part of the city were you in?
we
Was it
were in
Upper
we were like
East?
the lower east part of like downtown where nothing is.
Yeah, right. When you go
We took an Uber, we got dropped off in Times Square. We walked to where the bus tour, because like you don't Hazel and Gemma had bought the tickets, so they knew what we were looking for, like what colors and whatever. Because like there's one every 10 steps, and you don't know if
yeah,
that's the one you
yeah,
have tickets for. So they knew where to go, and we did it in the first half of the day, and it was nice. The way we were moving along, there was good breeze, but man, after we had a couple watermelon margaritas at Bubba Gump and a fuck ton of shrimp. So then we had the seafood sweats on top of the margarita sauce.
Oh God.
And we're getting on this bus at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon when the heat is at like 87 degrees, and the traffic had gotten so much worse that there was no breeze. Like it was an open
Yeah,
top
yeah,
bus, but there was just no fucking breeze. We were just like constantly stuck in traffic. So we got off and took an Uber back to the hotel, and just like that, I think that was the night that we ended up ordering food right to
yeah.
the hotel because we were so tired and so sweaty. And after we took showers and everything, like they had the nicest, this is going to sound so stupid for a Holiday Inn. They had the nicest courtyard that was,
Oh,
um,
yeah, sure. From the
they had
court.
a nice, I don't want to say a nice lobby. It was an
Mhm.
okay lobby. It was kind of done like a really cool living room. you know.
Oh,
So you could like sit there, they had water, they had juice, and they had like refrigerators where you could buy like sodas and stuff like that. And we would hang out there or we would sit outside and like so we ordered food and then just sat there and ate and it was really nice. And like directly, I mean, when the doors opened and you stepped outside of the hotel, there was a Burger King right there, right across the street.
nice.
And then like two stores down from that was a Dunkin' Donuts. So that was all I needed to be happy. A bus tour, Burger King and Dunkin', and I was cool. But we did, like I did manage to find like a really good little pizza place that's,
Mhm.
sold by the slice too. I didn't even have to buy a whole
Oh,
pack.
nice. We
It was
couldn't
only me
find them.
eating it, like Hazel wanted the Thai
Yeah,
food and Gemma got Thai food. And I'm like, I'm not leaving New York without having pizza. Like you fucked me on bagels.
right?
I at least have to have pizza.
We could not find a by the slice place. I don't know why. They were
No
like
way.
restaurants and like I said, we just probably didn't know where to go,
Yeah.
because we didn't know the area. Not every app tells you where every
Right.
little thing
Oh,
is.
definitely.
So
Yeah.
if you get pizza, then you might end up at a restaurant, which is what happened, like a
Right.
regular restaurant.
Right.
So, but we did go to Juniors. We saw a play and we went to Juniors, which is kind of like I guess you do that, right?
Dude,
When
right. Yes, exactly. Well, most like the celebrities go to Joe Allen and then the
yeah,
audience goes to juniors.
exactly. And
Yeah.
we were in like you were in the extreme with the heat, and we were in the extreme with the cold because it
Yeah.
was like bitter cold. Like I forgot how cold feels.
I was
You
gonna
know,
say you
like
wanted it. You wanted it, right?
coldest, yeah, because the coldest I ever felt was, lately in the last 10 years was Savannah, and that doesn't get as cold as New York.
Oh
Because when
no, that's a different
I
kind
was
of
in New York,
cold.
it was not cold. So when we got out of that play, man, it was so cold, and I could not find a cab because it was Broadway on a Saturday night, and everybody had the
Yeah.
cabs. And I
Yeah.
didn't, Joni had the Uber thing, but I'm not, I like doing the cab thing. And Marion just wanted to walk. She was on this mission that she had to walk. But poor Joni, she's a Florida baby.
Yeah.
And she was
You
just
don't
could
walk
not take it
anywhere.
cold. She got sick. She was sitting there. Her eyes were glazed over. She's coughing. Her throat
Oh,
was hurt. I go to Marion, look at her. You're killing her. Look at her. We need to get in a cab with some heat. Please
oh
let
my
me.
God. We were the
Have it.
complete, we would get an Uber and the first thing we would say is, "Do you have air conditioning?" Yeah. But like some of the cabs didn't. Like when we got on
Probably.
the plane and we got in a cab, there was no air conditioning, but it was like 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah, it wasn't too
So it
bad.
wasn't too bad. But again, thank God Gemma has the presence of mind to kind of like have Waze on her phone
Hmm.
and not Waze, I forget I don't know, Google Maps or something. But she was like, when you're so exhausted from traveling all day, and you get in the cab after hauling your luggage and all that shit through the airport and customs and all the bullshit, and you get in the cab and you're not even paying attention, you're checking your messages and looking at your phone. And the ride to our hotel was like something like 40 minutes. And
Oh,
again, it's muggy, it's nighttime or whatever. Like Gemma just happened to glance down and look at her phone and then look up at where we were and say to the cab driver, "That's our hotel right there." And he just kind of like slammed on the brakes, made a hard right, and we were there. But like we would have went right past it, like nobody was paying attention. And God
I
knows how far he would have went before he figured it out. So
have to
yeah,
know. Yeah, they don't always know.
yeah,
So
exactly. That's the difference. Like when I know that Uber and Lyft and Bolt and all these, cool rideshare apps and stuff are the new thing. But when you're in London, for me, I don't feel safe unless I'm in a black cab,
I agree with you
you
in
know?
any city.
Like they have to take these mandatory tests. They got to know about,
Yes. Uh-huh.
if you think Florida is bad with road closures and construction and new things happening and new things
Yeah.
being built,
Yeah.
times that by 10 and that's what London is like. So you never know whether this road's going to be closed, whether they're doing works over here, whether
Right. Right.
so these guys know
They
Like
do. Yeah.
they're not looking at their phone and trying to figure out and avoid accident. They just
Right.
fucking know, you
Yes.
know?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I just feel so much better, and you can tap, your debit card. You don't have to
Yes.
fuss
Yes.
around with, yeah. So
I
I
so agree with that.
yeah. Like, well, a lot of times what we end up doing is we take a car service from here where we live because there are no black cabs out here. We're
Yeah.
not in we're not in central London, so we'll use a car service. Like when we went to see Hannah Gadsby, we
Yeah.
car service to the Palladium,
Hmm.
and you can book the car to pick you up like
Oh,
two
okay.
hours later,
Yeah.
and get you home. Or if you're gonna go eat somewhere, or if you want to go into Soho for a drink or something before you go home, that's when you take the black cabs when you're already in there,
Right. Right.
and then you have a car service pick you up to take you all the way back out here because they're more familiar with the roads out here, you know.
Right. Yeah,
But
that's
yeah,
true. That's
it was
true.
a learning experience. Like I didn't understand any of this when I first got here.
Yeah, but I think that's true for most cities. Like when I was in New Orleans, I had the hotel concierge get me a cab, not an Uber.
Right.
Um, I was with Mary Beth on that trip and another girl because we were playing in a music conference and they both had Uber apps and I didn't have that. And I said, but when there was a point where we separated because I had a couple of shows in a different part of town than they did. And I'm like, I just want to get because I'm in a strange city now. I'm getting in a cab by myself,
Yeah,
going
and
to
New Orleans can be a
I
little
don't
skeevy.
know,
Yeah,
in New Orleans. So
yeah.
I'm like, I want like a real cab because at least I feel a little safer that way. I mean, anybody can be a
Oh,
psycho at the wheel, but yeah, and I felt that way in New York too.
yeah. I am the same way. I really, the hard part is some of the places that we travel, especially, around here and in Europe. And when we went to Dublin, it was
Hmm.
really hard to find a cab anywhere.
Yeah.
Anywhere. Like only the airport. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there
Yeah.
wasn't a city
Right.
where you step out on the street and you find a cab. So we ended up using Uber a lot, especially because my mom
Hmm.
at that point was using a wheelchair. And
Hmm.
so we always had to order like the big people mover
Right.
instead of a
Yeah.
car. So it was good for that, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
normally when she comes anyways, we rent like a six seater, like people carrier for the week. And this
Right.
when wherever we're going, it's no big deal, to throw her wheelchair, her walker, her cane, everything
Mhm.
she needs in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, that's just how I mean, cars are so small here. Like the first couple times that we picked them up from the airport, oh my God. Like me and my mom in the back seat and Gemma driving and Rick up front. And me and my mom are in the back seat. We've got her carry-on stuff from the plane, Rick's carry-on stuff on our laps, and the wheelchair between our knees and the front seats because there's no room in the back because of the two pieces of luggage, and that's your whole trunk full, you know?
Right.
Like, oh my God, this is unbelievable. So yeah, we just decided every time that we have guests or whatever, we just rent a van, you know?
Yeah, that's a good idea. I mean, we took an Uber to Jersey because my sister, first of all, from the beginning, wanted to rent a car. And I said, it's probably not a great idea because people that live here get lost in Jersey. We don't even live here, and we have to get to that wedding on time. Please, let's just get a car. So we ended up getting an Uber for that. And because we couldn't get a taxi to take us to Jersey.
Of course.
But I found it so hard to believe that Uber and Lyft and all of those services really did put a huge dent in the taxi
Oh,
businesses.
totally. Oh, totally.
The cab
And,
driver was
and they'll tell you, like they will tell you, like we took a cab on the return of the cruise. We were back in New York and we had to get from the port to Jamaica near
Mhm.
LaGuardia, where we had a hotel room for the afternoon so that we could freshen up before the flight. And you would have
Great.
thought that we asked this guy to drive us to the Bahamas. So
Yeah,
he
yeah,
takes us. he takes us to, to Jamaica or whatever, and we get to our hotel, and it was $120 for the cab fare, and I gave him $50 as a tip. And he looked at the 50 and he went, "That's it? I
Really?
just took you across town or whatever." And I'm like, "Oh my God, I threw in another 20. Gemma threw in a five. Hazel had no cash." I'm like, what do you want to do? You want to rape one of us? Well, I mean, what
Oh my,
and he just like snatched the money and left. I was like, what a
oh
dick.
my God.
Yeah.
You just
So
never
they're
know when
they're
you're
not
traveling.
pleasant. Some of them aren't pleasant.
Oh, no.
You gotta expect it. You're in New York, you gotta expect it.
Yeah, I had
I
one
will
cat.
say, like, I didn't find that, that people were as awful as I expected. There was a
No,
lot of homelessness,
yeah, yeah.
a lot of druggies that would hold the door open for you, hoping for a $1 tip. And I couldn't understand why every morning the same guy would, like, I get it. He was at Dunkin' Donuts, that was his territory. And he would open the door for you. And he opened the door for me, and I reached in my pocket, gave him what I thought was a one. Five
Uh-oh.
cents later, I realized it was a 10.
Uh,
Then I'm wondering why he's following me and opening every door to every store that I'm going in. And I'm like, I turned around and said, like, right in his face, "It was a mistake.
oh my God, that's
That's all
funny.
you're getting from me for the next 3 days that I'm here."
That
That's
is
it.
funny. Don't bother. Don't open any more doors.
Oh my God. I couldn't believe this guy would
Oh,
have followed me on the bus tour if I'd let him. Unbelievable thing. So you had the problem of Joni being sick, right? Nobody planning anything in advance, and
none
your
of that
sister
stuff.
not wanting to do ride shares. So yeah, you were kind of screwed, man. You were kind of screwed.
Yeah, she didn't want to do, I wanted to do the cab. She didn't really care. She just didn't want to do cars. She was just going to walk. But it got to the point where I was just tired of walking in circles because we
Yeah,
didn't always know where we
yeah,
were going. And then the other thing is we were trying to pack so many things into this one little trip that
yeah,
we didn't have the luxury to walk everywhere because we didn't have the time.
yeah. You're like,
That
let's
was the
move,
other
right?
thing, it's like it's far. I'd love to walk there, but we don't have time because now we have to get to the play,
Right.
because we wanted to see the museum and then we have to get to the play. And so, and then we already had the tickets for the play because they stood online early in the morning for Kimberly Akimbo, which was a really good play.
Yeah, yeah. I heard really good things about that.
And yeah, so we didn't have the luxury of the time.
Right.
And then I didn't have the luxury of my scarf and gloves. But I would have eventually found them if I could have gotten to a store, maybe that, but we were
Right.
always
Like
going,
you didn't even really have time to shop.
no time to shop because then we had the wedding. And
Right.
the wedding was in Jersey. And then we were meeting my cousin. And my cousin lives in the city. So we met her the next night before we went home. And I had the best Thai food in the
Oh,
city. So
okay.
out of all the foods that we got, she took us there because we just made mistakes going to the wrong places, not
Yeah.
knowing,
And you do spend a lot of time like head down looking at your phone. And a
Yeah,
lot of times
yeah.
I'm gonna make a seething confession right now. I much prefer going into London with Hazel because she doesn't like to walk.
Ah.
Whereas Gemma will go, "Oh, it's only a 10-minute walk," but it turns
Yeah,
out to
right.
be 20 or 25 because we didn't make the right turn, or going in the wrong direction,
Exactly.
you know?
Right, right,
So I get
right.
super, super frustrated with her to the point of like I can feel myself looking like that emoji that's snorting out steam.
Yeah.
So she's
That was me. That was totally
yeah.
me.
So she's like super aware of that now, and
Mhm.
she won't drag me like through the streets. But like when we go, we a lot of times we go to the Soho Theater to see like we saw Hannah Enminder there from Hacks,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, I
Jeff
love her.
Garlin there. It's a great theater. Like it can accommodate like a big name star, or there's like a little basement where people
Mhm.
are trying out new shit, like Jeff
Yeah.
Garland was and Hannah Enbinder was, and it's
Yeah.
very intimate. Like it just feels like a bar. So it's
Mhm.
a really good spot, but there's not, and there are things around it, but like for me, I get so sick of Wagamamas because it's one of the few places that Gemma has some unlimited options there, like
Yeah, yeah.
gluten-free noodles and tofu, and you can have curry, you could have katsu, you could
Mhm.
have pho, and it's just like she loves it, but I get super sick of it. So when we go to the Soho Theater, I want to go through Leicester Square because there's a burgers and lobsters. There's really good
Yeah,
restaurants there, you know.
yeah.
Um, but she'll go, okay, well, we could walk. And I'm like, I'm not doing it. There's so many little side streets in London that you think you can cut through and get to the next place, but you realize you can't. Now you're doing this and you're weaving and
Turn
you come out
back.
and yeah. So I get so frustrated. So, Hazel's just like calling a car, like grab a
Yeah.
cab, like that kind of thing. But in the beginning, it was fun because like a couple of times we met Lucy and Mandy in London, and we went to Madame Tussauds and walked around, went to Harrods, went to Fortnum and Mason, and that kind of stuff's fun because it's all in one little area.
Yeah.
But Jesus Christ, when you're just hoofing it to get to a theater or
Yes,
show or
exactly.
something. And
Exactly.
another reason why I liked working for Sharon Glass, because she didn't want to walk anywhere. And she's like, here's my credit card, here's the
Funny.
account for the car service. I don't want to walk anywhere. Like, I want cars picking me up right on the doorstep. You got it. Yeah.
Spoiled celebrity, but then she was doing a one woman show, right? Where she just never stopped for all that time.
Yeah. Yeah. So of course when
Not
it was
wanting to
over with,
walk anywhere.
I have to tell you one of the funniest stories about working with her is like I would order her car at night and it would take her to where she was staying in Holland Park or wherever it was. And I was staying in Kensington because believe it or not, I couldn't get to London before noon when I had to be there
Mhm.
trying to leave from here where I live
Mhm.
because of the commuters in the
Mhm.
morning. Like
Mhm.
I would stand there where it says mind the gap, waiting for the train.
Oh, mind the
And I
gap.
would be like, oh, look at me. Like it's so empty. This is great. And this would be at like about 8:30, about 8:20. And the train into London comes at 8:25. So I would
Mhm.
be like, plenty of time, plenty of time, plenty of time. And I'm standing there and like in 3 minutes, the platform was so jam packed. And I was like, oh my God. So I would keep moving back because I was getting nervous about
Mind the
falling on
gap.
the tracks because of the people, right? So I moved back, moved back. The train would come, the doors would open up, everybody would push and shove and push and shove, and the doors would close, and I'd still be standing there. And this would happen 4 times.
Oh my God. Oh my
So
God.
I wouldn't even be able to get on the train until like 10:30, take it to like I don't know, 4 or 5 stops, get off at Clapham, change
Yeah.
trains, go to a different platform, change trains, and then end up someplace else where I had to get on the tube to get to Hammersmith to get.
Mhm.
So it was like, it was infuriating. Like, I'm like, I cannot get here on time. And finally, Sharon said, where are you coming from? And I'm like far away, like I showed her on the map or whatever. And she goes, why aren't you just staying at Deb's? Like that is a rented, paid for flat. She's not there. And I'm like, oh my God.
Oh, perfect. That was perfect.
So she handed me Deb's keys and said, just stay there. So then it was like so easy because I call myself a car and I'd go
Yeah.
pick her up.
Go.
Right.
Right.
So at night, after the show was over, I called her a car one night and I would book her in at either the Ivy or Joe Allen for dinner. And she always had somebody that was meeting her there. Her agent would go with her or whatever. So then I would book the car to take her home from the restaurant. So I book her the car and it's taking her home. And she says to the driver, could you stop at one of these little mini mart places here? I just want to get an ice cream. And the guy was like, sure. So he stops and she, not thinking that we're on the other side of the road, opens up the car door as a moped's coming by.
Oh, geez.
and it it hits the moped and knocks the wing mirror off.
Oh my
And
God.
the guy like, stops and he turns around and everything. And she goes, I really don't want this is like a car service and I don't want them to get in trouble and I don't want anything to mess with my account. I'm in good standing. And I just give you all the cash I have so you can buy yourself a new mirror.
Oh my God.
He forked him over like 250 pounds for a fucking $20 wing mirror.
He was happy. He didn't care.
I'm like, that's how you solve problems. It's throw money at it.
Throw money at it,
Yeah.
right? That's how the celebrities do it.
But
I
it's
do
one
that
of those
when I
things that
can.
I forget about all the time. Like when Hazel drops us off every Tuesday and I have to get out of the car because she doesn't, instead of coming into our lot, she just stops right there. And I'll be like ready to open the door and Gemma will always like put her hand on my shoulder and be like, wait, there's company coming. Oh, right. So yeah, I feel like sometimes I feel like I've been here 3 days and sometimes I feel like I've been here 20 years. So can't figure it out.
I think I could get used to the city living if I had been there a little bit more, like another few days or a week, I would have been
You
fine. Like
definitely
I
need a little
figured that out,
little time to get acclimated and a little time to put a plan together.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
mean, there's a part of me that feels like I like that kind of life. Like I could like it, but maybe not. Well, I don't know if I would like it all the time because I don't really, I'm not really. I try to pretend I'm in the city here, but I'm not.
Well,
Couldn't be any
no,
not in the city from where I am, but
no, but I mean, I think that the thing about where you are though, you are right there within kind of walking distance of bars, restaurants, club, beach.
yes, that I
Like
am. 7-Eleven for quick
that's
stuff.
yeah,
Yeah,
like that feels like hustly bustly.
it does. And then
So
looking out the window at night and seeing the building across the street, like a
yeah,
like a big building, like that's
yeah,
kind of
definitely. Like I think it's the best of both worlds, kind of.
yeah, yeah. I try to feel that way,
Like outward,
except
like my mom feels very suburban.
yeah,
I
suburban.
mean, there's every national chain of every single restaurant you could possibly
Yes,
want. All the houses look the same, all the roofs look the same,
yes,
all the landscaping is the same.
mm,
So yeah, it feels super, super suburban. But then, well, listen, this has been fun.
yes.
Um, Next week
Awesome.
we'll have Nick and we're gonna do a side-by-side comparison from his
Yes,
Oscar picks to the actual winners, and that'll be fun. And then we've got the girls from Skirt SoFlo, which is a new actual physical lesbian magazine.
that's amazing. That's
Also
so
an
exciting.
e so they're doing a digital version, but they also have the physical magazines up and down the drive where you can pick them up at all the different places in Wilton Manors. And it's new. It just started in February, so we're gonna have the girls on to talk about that. And then we're gonna try and get Araya back and talk about
Yes,
some spring fling movies.
yes. I'm just looking to see if I can heard back from her. Not yet, but it usually takes her a couple of days. So
Yeah, no worries.
we'll
But we
get
know
her
we've
back.
got her end of the month, so that's good. So yeah, we've got a great March.
Looking forward to it.
All right. Well, listen, I'm so
All
happy
right.
that you have a busy month coming up, but we'll stay in touch and I'll see you next week or this weekend with Nick.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it. I'm leaving him on the wall.
Leaving him on the wall. He's right there. Okay. All right. Talk to you soon, Nick. So long.
Bye.
Why do you always run
It's like
back
never stop
to
chasing your dreams.
the love
We
you
drank way
once
too much
knew?
whiskey.
You're addicted to her
There,
touch.
that's see,
That's
see.
true. And I confess, my addiction is you. Don't ask me why I'm here tonight. I had to take this midnight drive to find you. And as I come in through the door, I see her dancing on the floor beside you. Why do you always run back to the lover you once knew? You're addicted to her consumes me in a shameful kind of sadness. Why do you always run back to the lover you once knew? You're addicted to her touch, that's true. And I confess, my addiction is you. You are my drug, my ever-waking need. I got you in my blood. You've got me on my knees. Why do you always run back to the love you once knew? You're addicted to her touch, that's true. And I confess, my addiction is